Welcome to the Workamper Show, a podcast devoted to helping you discover how to finance your RV travel dreams. I'm Steve Anderson, the president of Workamper News. Each one of our episodes will either introduce you to people who are already living the RV lifestyle or to opportunities to work short-term jobs. You'll also learn how to hit the road the right way and make the most of every opportunity. Now let's turn over today's show to your host, Greg Gerber.
Thank you, Steve. This week I'm interviewing a woman who gets to travel around the country interviewing RV industry professionals and working up feature stories about them for a major RV industry news publication. Today's episode is sponsored by The Dreamer's Journey. It's a new online course and community produced by Workamper News. Life is way too short to keep your dreams on hold, so don't be held back by fear because you were designed for more. Get started in the RV lifestyle the right way with this comprehensive guide. For just $29.95 for 1 year of access, Dreamers have unlimited viewing of 50-plus videos to learn things like what type of RV to buy, goal setting, how to budget for the adventure, developing a positive mindset, setting up a domicile, and operating a small business on the road, plus everything about work camping and how to find the right job for you. Each video is 30 to 90 minutes long to give an in-depth coverage on each topic. There's no wrong time to get started, so for more information, visit www.rvdreamersjourney.com. Niki Benedict was an event planner until the COVID debacle put an end to all-person meetings. When her job was eliminated, she found work for a company that performed data analytics for the automotive industry. That required working entirely on a computer from home, and since people weren't supposed to do anything but sit home for months on end, Niki had plenty of time on her hands to surf the internet. She eventually stumbled on some online resources describing the concept of RV living, which Niki didn't even know existed. She connected with a few work campers and eventually bought a Class C motorhome so she could travel easily with her dog. But before she put the motorhome into drive, she signaled her intention on LinkedIn and connected with one of the owners of RV Business who invited Niki to work for them on a new project to interview RV dealers, campground owners, and other industry professionals on location. She would also attend various events. Niki moved into her 24-foot motorhome in March of 2021 and hit the road a few months later. She's already had the opportunity to visit many new places and fell in love with Bozeman, Montana. This year, Niki is planning to spend time in Florida so she can help her parents transition into the RV lifestyle themselves. Ideally, Niki likes to spend 3 to 5 days in a new location before moving on. She likes to drive because it gives her an opportunity to think, dream, and plan other things she'd like to do. Yet she's not opposed to spending more time in an area she finds rather intriguing just to learn more about the culture and the area. For example, she planned to spend just a few weeks in Arizona and wound up touring the state for several months. In addition to her work at RV Business, Niki also hosts her own social media channels and even hosts a Hump Day Happy Hour live on Instagram every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. For that, she shares RVers' stories about why they jumped into the RV lifestyle and things they'd like to do when traveling. Niki has already faced some significant challenges, such as having to replace her slide-out, which required her to be out of her RV for 3 months. She also learned a valuable lesson about the need to make advanced reservations when traveling to popular tourist destinations. To tell us more about the content she creates and her RVing experiences, please welcome Niki Benedict to the show. Thank you for joining us today, Niki. I appreciate the time. Tell me a little bit about you and how you got involved in RVing.
So the pandemic hit, right? I was an event planner. So at the time the world shut down, right? Pandemic hit, everything changes. Well, what's the first thing that stopped is events.
Yes.
So I was first furloughed and then they eliminated my position. I worked for a large company in data analytics in the automotive industry. And, I, for the first time since I was 15, didn't have to work. I didn't have to, I was supposed to sit at home and stay put. So I started looking on Instagram and I came across this, RV living. I'm like, what is this? I really hadn't heard about it. I didn't know it existed. So I found actually now has become one of my great friends. And on Instagram, we actually host every Wednesday. We do Hump Day Happy Hour. But she became a great friend, but she really showed her life. She quit her job, quit her lifestyle in this, she worked for Amazon and living that corporate grind, living the American dream, so they say. And, the way that she showcased her life, it was very real, vulnerable, and honest. And, I hadn't seen that. She bought a Class C and was traveling around with her two Great Danes. And I just was so inspired. Sent my first, DM to somebody on Instagram, and I made a connection. And a few months later, I really got to thinking, I'm like, you know what? Why not? I love to travel. I have a dog and she travels with me now, but I couldn't travel freely because it was hard to find sitters, etc. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give this thing a go. So I started doing research. I told myself, okay, if I'm going to make this a reality, I need to actually put it out into the universe, right? So the first thing I did, before I even drove an RV for the first time, I put it on LinkedIn that I decided I was going to be doing this. And one of the first messages I received was from Greg Four with RV Business. And we had a great conversation. He said, you know what, I've been looking for someone to take on this new project that I've been kind of thinking about on the back burner. And I just feel like this would be a good fit. So him and I kind of created this RV business on the road, where I interview campground owners, RV dealers, attend events, etc. So we kind of got this project started when I jumped into RV lifestyle full time. So it's been a whirlwind.
That's neat. I know Greg Four was one of my favorite sources when I was the editor of RV Daily Report for many, many years. And then he switched over to RV Business. And so you are basically doing now what I was doing for RV Daily Report, traveling the country and interviewing people. So that's good to know that that kind of thing is continuing today. What type of RV do you have?
So I have a 24-foot Class C.
Okay, 24 foot is small, but it's just ideal for you unless you've got a really big dog with you.
Nope, she's medium sized, and I love the reason I chose this layout. Originally, I had a friend that I was actually going to use his RV. It's fairly old, but as I was thinking about it, he just wasn't sure. It had been sitting for a long time, and he wasn't sure if it could even make it very far. So I started just looking as a plan B in case it wasn't reliable. And I found this layout, and it's great because it's a full slide out. And I love the layout of it. So it expands and it feels like it's, a tiny studio apartment.
Do you tow a car with you?
I do. I actually, it's fairly new that I'm towing, but I actually received the car as a gift from my friend Cara that kind of introduced me to this lifestyle. So yeah.
Well, I wish I had friends who would give me cars.
I know. I'm very lucky.
That is neat. Super. So what attracted you to the life on the road kind of thing?
It was really just wanting to get back to me again. I had felt so lost for so long. Kind of the corporate grind of things. It just wasn't a good fit. I really wasn't happy in my current position at work and kind of really felt lost. So I'm like, you know what? This is just the perfect time to get out there and explore. I really wanted to make genuine connections with people. Hence my business name is Connecting Through. I really just love connections and meeting people and exploring things I hadn't before, really exposing myself to different environments. And the thought of doing that while having my home with me was just amazing. So that really drew me to the lifestyle.
So this Connecting Through is a business that you own as well. And does that mean that RV Business is one of your clients?
Correct. We started this project, RV Business, Connecting Through takes RV business on the road. We created this project, we really started out of thin air. So, I'm a contractor for them. Kind of working through some other things that I'd like to do. I have as part of this business, something kind of in the works right now that I can't really discuss, but it has me really excited.
That's wonderful. And so you've been doing this for about a little over a year, right?
So I moved into my RV the end of March of last year. And I didn't start traveling until June. Okay. So I've been living in it, but then I actually wasn't, I was stationary for a while, and and then hit the road.
Where are you right now?
So I'm currently in Waco, Texas.
Okay. So you escaped the Indiana weather and came south.
I did. I'm from Michigan originally. And yeah, it's really nice not having to deal with, shoveling the snow and all of that. So it's been great.
Where are you going to be traveling as well this spring?
So it's kind of up in the air right now. I am making my way to Florida. So on the way, I'm doing a few interviews here in Texas, and then heading to Florida because I'm helping my mom and my stepdad actually move into their RV. They're going to be stationary for a few years, but it's been great to see this kind of full circle. They are selling their house and deciding to jump into this lifestyle. So it's been great. I've been able to inspire those close to me.
What are some of the favorite places that you visited so far?
Ooh, I love Bozeman, Montana. I fell in love with Montana in general. It was the first time that I kind of I went through northern Michigan and made my way on the north direction, but it was the first time that I just was truly blown away by something so magnificent and beautiful. I absolutely love Bozeman, Montana.
It is a beautiful state. I remember being there over 4th of July a couple of years ago, and I was actually there for like 10 days, and I only got half a day off to explore the state, and it was just gorgeous. I wish I had taken more time to really soak in the beauty of Montana.
Well, hopefully you'll be able to make it back there.
Someday, I hope so. Yeah. Where would you like to go? What's on your bucket list of places to visit?
So I started this journey, right? Giving myself at least a year. I told myself, okay, if I hate it, if I don't like it, if it doesn't work out, I'm going to stick it out for a year. Well, now I'm on my year mark and I want to continue. So I definitely am going to do it for another year. I haven't made any decisions yet, but I would love to go to Alaska. I have some friends that are debating, making the hike up there as well. So I might do it, but there's so much of the United States that I'd like to see as well. So I think I need to make a decision on it, but definitely Alaska's a bucket list for sure.
So you travel around the country and you interview RV dealers, manufacturers, suppliers, etc. And how do you find those folks? Does RV Business give you assignments, or do you look for interesting stories to share?
Combination of both. So there's definitely dealers that they focus on, in whenever area I'm traveling to. So it's all kind of based on my schedule. But it's been great because I've found interviews along my travels that, okay, this would be a great story. This would be a great, person to interview. So it's a combination of both. We've built a good relationship in that, if we feel like it's a good story, we trust one another to make it happen.
Do you focus primarily on industry interviews, or are you interviewing RVers as well?
A little bit of both. So on my channel on social media is really where I spend a lot of my time. And I talk to every Wednesday, we interview different travelers, right? So if they're living a nomadic lifestyle, traveling, anything kind of out of the ordinary, we do Hump Day Happy Hour, which is just a fun thing that we do on Instagram Live, just to have fun with it and get to know people that are living this life, why they made the decision to do it, and what really drives them to travel. So I've really enjoyed that part, is being able to share other people's stories. There's a lot to focus on when it comes to social media and platforms and what do you want to tell your story, right? So as I've gone through a year now, I'm trying to hone in on what that focus is, but content creation is something I really love to do. So working with brands to, share their products and share that with the viewers is great too. So I really enjoy it.
People really love stories and they connect to that because it's personal. It's what somebody's experiencing, and it can be inspiring to people to want to go out and do the same thing.
Right.
Yeah. So when you're connecting through business, are you working with other clients now too? Are you always looking for them?
Yeah, I'm always open and looking. Focus primarily on content creation, and there's going to be a different wing of that. Like I said earlier on, that I'm secretly working on in the background. But working with brands to showcase what what they would like to. I'm always looking for new people to partner with and new ideas. My past in event planning and hospitality, there's always opportunities out there. So I'm definitely open if something great comes along.
That's great. So you're basically writing blogs and doing web content for your clients.
Right.
Okay, which is something you can do parked anywhere.
Right.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Have you faced any challenges on the road?
Oh, of course.
What are some of them?
Well, they tell you anything that you read that about this lifestyle is to make sure that you prepare because things will go wrong, things will break, etc. Well, it's a lot easier to say that and then actually experience it. I had to replace my whole entire slide, so I was out of my RV for 3 months. They're waiting on parks, and with everything on back order and all of the delays that were happening, it took a really long time, longer than they anticipated. So I guess being out of it for a long time, that was a challenge. I've been kind of a fly by the seat of your pants kind of planner, which has been good and bad. My, I guess, worst experience, I got into Jackson Hole, and it was so busy. There was some sort of festival or something going on, and I couldn't find anywhere to even park my RV. So that was a situation where poor planning really did not help me. And I realized, okay, I at least have to have a balance. If I'm going to plan only a week or a few days or even that day, at least have to have some sort of idea of where I'm going and safely can park. So those are two of the biggest things: is warranty work, getting service work, and making sure I'm planning properly.
Well, you're still a newbie if you've been doing this for about a year. So what are some of the most interesting or important lessons that you've learned the hard way?
I guess the biggest, don't be afraid to ask for help, right? I used to be somebody that was very independent, I guess is the word I use. But in this lifestyle, you have to depend on other people. I think I've spent way too much time trying to look into something or fix something on my own and look online and search. Or instead, it would have saved me a lot of time to just go on to one of the Facebook groups that, is full of RVers, and I can put it out there and ask a question, and someone wants to help can get a quick answer to me right away. So I think wasting a lot of time on things that I could really rely on other people for help has been a challenge, or something that I've overcame.
That is a very good point, because you can waste a lot of time searching for answers. And then even if you go online, some of these folks, you don't even know whether they're the right answers or not. So it's really hard for new people and even experienced RVers to figure out who to trust online and where to get their information. How do you do that?
There's, different Facebook groups that are full of RVers. I'm also a member of Escapers, and that's a great resource as well. So, and
Indeed.
FMCA RV clubs. So there's different clubs and things that have, people in this lifestyle that are that trusted network that you can rely on. So, I've made a lot of friends through Escapers and Escapees. So that's been, they have great message boards and community groups that is a great resource to find people. Another source I use is, you can focus on your specific manufacturer. So there's Facebook groups for that as well. To be fair, I'm not a big fan of Facebook, but the groups in there are excellent. But yeah, if you can put a question in on one of those forums, usually you can get an answer that at least gets you in the right direction on where to look.
I agree. That's a good point. Now, I've talked to a number of women who've been solo RVing, and so I'm glad to see that you're doing it as well. Have you had any challenges or safety concerns or anything like that being out there on your own?
It's so funny. That's the number one question that I get asked. And that was the number one thing that family and friends were concerned about me being on the road. It's like, you hear all of these things like, oh, it's such a scary place out there as a woman, right? Or as anybody being on your own. But it's the fear of the unknown that really gets people. I feel like this country is full of really great people. Now, great, granted, there's bad people out there everywhere too, but I feel safe. I trust my judgment. I make sure I'm aware of my surroundings. I park places where I can, right? I don't I I have been very fortunate, and of course I can't speak for everybody, but use your judgment. You have to be smart, you have to be safe, but yeah, no, it's not as scary as everyone makes it out to be.
Do people
Plus I have a dog that's very protective, so if anybody did try to approach me, they step away pretty quickly, I'd imagine.
do you find people treat you differently as a single gal on the road?
No,
No.
but it is interesting because there will be times where I'm, backing into a space or, adjusting myself, and I've actually had this happen more than one occasion where a male would come over and try to and insert themselves that I needed help. Now, it's, of course, to be fair, they're trying to be helpful, right? But
Hmm.
they're actually being harmful sometimes. Like if they ask and I say, no, I'm okay, that means I'm okay. I don't need your help, and I don't need I don't need you to insist here,
Right.
So that's been interesting. But it's all, it's just trying to be nice. But, I try to approach it like, hey, I'm good. I travel full time solo. So I do this all the time. And usually it starts with a good conversation. So it's just kind of changing people's perceptions when they don't know.
A lot of people are familiar with escapees. They've been around forever. And a lot of full-time RVers are members of that group, but they might not know who the escapers are. Can you tell a little bit more about what that is?
Yeah, Escapers is within Escapees RV Club, and they are the working age. It's for the working aged RVer. So anyone that's really focused on working while on the road can be a member of Escapers. It's great because you meet a lot of really great people that are in that same situation as you, whether they travel full time, part time, or they're just out there occasionally. A lot of us, we do have to work remotely. So meeting people that kind of face these same challenges and live the life that you do has been really great.
Have you been connected with any of the groups that are specifically targeted to serving solo women on the road?
Yeah, so I've attended a few events. I've attended the Escapees Escapade and then the Escapers, their bash that happened just recently, and they have groups within that are all full of solos. So it's been, honestly, I've met so many great people, and now I've actually stayed really close friends with because of it. So yeah, the attending events has been key for me, to connect with other solos that are out on the road. Also social media. I never imagined that I would have such a close relationship with people that I had never met in my life, but I have bonded with people online, through Instagram and TikTok. You find people out there that you didn't even know were out there doing the same thing as you. So yeah, it's I
That
have some great friends on the internet.
that's fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how often do you travel?
So right now I'm moving a little quicker than I would like. I think I've found a balance. I think my safe space is, 3 to 4 days, a week probably tops, to stay in a location. Now that I have a tow vehicle, it makes it a little bit easier to stay put and explore the area. But I love to drive and I love to see new things. And really drive time is my work time, right? I can focus, I can dream, I can think about all of the things that I want to accomplish while I'm driving. So I do like to drive far distances, but I'd say the sweet spot is, 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
3 to 5 days is the sweet spot. I stayed when I was in Arizona for 2 weeks, and then I continued to stay in Arizona for a few months. But that being there for that long of a period, I got to get out, and it's too long. I got to get out and explore a little more than 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. I understand. You're following the same pattern I did at RV Daily Report. I moved every 3 to 5 days. And then do you coordinate your travels around specific events or things like that? Or do you have a particular route you try and go to?
It's a little bit of both. There are key events and things that I'd like to attend, especially now that I'm planning for this upcoming year, deciding where I'm going to be and what I'm going to do. I'm going to focus mostly around events and people that I want to meet up with. Like I said, I've met a lot of really great friends that I'd like to connect with down the road. So um, this year, or last year I spent a lot of time out west. This year I'd like to stay around the East Coast a little bit
Mhm.
before I head out west. I might actually look for a work camping job. I'm really indecisive right now on how
Mhm.
the direction I want to go. So
That's
it's kind of up in the air.
that's the beauty of this lifestyle, is because you
Right.
you can pick a direction. You can do whatever the heck you want to do. That's one of the joys of being RVing, and one of the big attractions is the freedom that it offers. So if you don't like a particular area, just pack up your house and move somewhere else and give that a try.
Right.
So that's neat. How far in advance do you have to plan out like your campground stays and things like that? Or have you found it relatively easy to be able to just pull up into a campground and find a vacant spot?
You know, I have found it relatively easy. I think I've lucked out because the size of my RV. If you're larger, it's hard to get spots a lot of the times. But I've been pretty lucky. I don't do a lot of planning in advance, which I really admire those that can plan a whole year in advance. But I'm not that person, and I don't want to be right now. I've spent my life planning events, planning. It's kind of nice to just flip a coin and decide where I'm going to go. Um, I have run into situations where I haven't been able to find somewhere. So, like I said, finding the balance of that is important. But yeah, I've been pretty lucky.
That's awesome. Uh, do you have any advice for people who are considering jumping into the RV lifestyle?
One piece of advice, if you do decide, yes, I'm buying my RV, I'm doing all the things, right? There's plenty of advice and blogs and tips out there for you for things that you need to buy and prep and do. My advice would be you have to get the bare minimums, right? Like you have to get the whole, black tank hose and, hoses for water, but don't go out and buy a bunch of things until you know how you're going to use them. There's plenty of things where I bought and I'm like, yeah, you know what? Now I've never used this one time, even though it was said that it was the most needed thing. My advice would be just go out for a week or two. If you can stay local to where you are and you can just try and figure out what you need, stay put for a while and don't go and buy all the things all at once. Take your time with it and buy as you need. That's always one piece of advice that I give.
What are some of Niki's must have products or apps that you found helpful in planning your trips and things like that?
Ooh, for specifically trip planning?
Trip planning, or the products that you like to use on the road?
So products I love, I have Rock Solar. So I don't have, I'm not solar ready yet. So, getting that all hooked up is going to be an investment, but right now I don't have that. So when I'm off the grid and I love to boondock and I love to stay places that, don't have hookups.
Mhm.
So I love my Rock Solar. It's a portable power charger. I use it for everything when I'm not connected to power. I'm actually using it right now to have my computer plugged in. I love my clear source water filter. That's amazing. For trip planning, I use Campendium a lot. It's a great resource because you can kind of look what's in front of you when you're traveling. iOverlander, I use that as well. The standard Google Maps, all that. But yeah, I like Campendium's a really good resource that I use pretty much daily.
That's excellent. Well, Niki, this has been fascinating. You've done a great job in describing the lifestyle and the freedom and flexibility that it involves. So I wish you the best of luck the rest of this year as you just sort of follow your nose wherever you find the news stories or the scoops to write about, and enjoying your time on the road.
Thank you. And one thing I do want to share as well, if people are thinking about this lifestyle, and let's say they're another female that's single or solo or, wants to get out and travel on their own, don't wait around for your life to start. If you want to do something, you don't need anybody else to do it. You have to believe in yourself and have to know that you have the courage and strength to do it, but start small, go tent camping, talk to other people that are living this lifestyle for advice, rent an RV for the first time. Don't be afraid to do something on your own because you're waiting around for somebody else to join you. Go out and do it on your own. You can do it.
That's an excellent advice. If people wanted to follow your journeys or read about the things that you're writing about, how could they do that?
Yeah, so I am mostly on Instagram and TikTok on social media. So you can follow me there. I'm connecting through Niki. Um, you can also follow me on Facebook if you like the Facebook. But I'm gonna have my website up and running at some point here soon. That's been in the works. That's connectingthrough.com. And then any of the interviews with RV Business, you can check that out on their YouTube channel.
So your interviews are all video.
They are, yes.
Well, that's cool. Okay, very good. Well,
Yeah, I'm kind of I wear all the hats in this. I film, I do all the B-roll, I do the interviews, I doing just starting on the editing, but that's a new pickup. But yeah, I kind of do it all in the interview.
That makes my brain hurt just to think about all the work involved in doing video interviews. So congratulations for your ability to figure out. And I wish you the best of luck going forward. Thanks again, Niki.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
I'd like to thank content creator Niki Benedict for coming on the show to describe what attracted her to the RV lifestyle and what inspires her to continue traveling. Of all the lessons Niki has learned, one of the biggest is not to be afraid to ask other RVers for help when she needs it. She had spent a lot of time scouring the internet for solutions to some problems she experienced, when simply asking someone for advice and help would have saved her a lot of time. Niki has made a lot of friends among younger RVers as members of the Escapees Club's Escapers group. She's also an active participant in several Facebook groups for RVers. One of the most frequent questions she is asked is what it's like traveling the country on her own as a young woman. It's a concern many of her friends and family members shared as well. However, by being aware of her surroundings and using good judgment, Niki said she feels safe, especially with an overly protective dog as a roommate. The freedom offered through the RV lifestyle is a big benefit for Niki. She enjoys selecting a destination and then just heading out. If she finds out the area wasn't what she expected it to be, Niki simply moves on to another location. Niki's biggest piece of advice to new RVers is not to buy accessory items until they know for sure they're going to be needed. She spent a lot of money buying things other people told her she would consider essential to RV travel. However, Niki has never used some of those things. There are a number of ways people can connect with Niki. Her favorites are Instagram, where you'll find her at www.instagram.com/connectingthrough, THRU, Niki, Niki, and looking for her video interviews at RV Business's RVB On The Road YouTube channel. Today's episode is sponsored by Workamper News. With its Diamond and Platinum membership tools, Workamper News is much more than just a job listing website. When you put the tools of this professional service into action, you'll find out just how easy it can be to turn your work camping dreams into reality. The one-year memberships open the door to a one-stop shop for all things work camping. Being the original resource for work camping, you'll find the largest number of job listings, be able to connect with a community of work campers, and view resources compiled by experts who've been enjoying the RV lifestyle for many years. If you're serious about leading a successful and enjoyable work camping lifestyle, then a Diamond or Platinum membership is for you. You can even get started with a free 30-day trial by visiting www.workcamper.com/trial. Embark on new adventures today with the support of Workamper News behind you. That's all I have for this week's show. Next week, I'll begin interviewing a man connected to a service organization called RV Caravanners, where its members travel around the country completing projects for Habitat for Humanity. It's a great opportunity to volunteer for a few weeks or make it a full-time effort to build homes that are sold to people with lower incomes. I'll have more details on the next episode of The Work Camper Show. Thank you for listening.